Hello and welcome everyone to the Drishti IAS English channel. My name is Pragya and in today's episode of Polity Primer, we are going to discuss another important constitutional post. The title of our today's discussion is Speaker of the Lok Sabha. In this discussion, we are going to study about the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. We are also going to see the constitutional provisions in this regard. We are also going to see the election and tenure of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. We are also going to analyze the role, powers and functions of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. We are also going to see independence and impartiality that is ensured for the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. We are also going to analyze the post of Deputy Speaker, and then we'll study about who is known as the Pro Tem Speaker, and in the end we are going to see a practice question for your prelims examination and a practice question for your mains examination. So if I talk about the background of our today's topic, the post of the Speaker is a very important constitutional post and it remains often in news in relation to the anti-defection laws. Anti-defection laws, okay. We have discussed the 10th schedule, also known as the anti-defection laws, in the very first episode of our Polity Primer series. So this brings us to the question that who is the Speaker of the Lok Sabha? What is the historical background of the post? What is the importance of the post? Let us examine. So if I talk about the post of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, he is the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha. Kindly note this point. Presiding officer of the Lok Sabha. And if I talk about the historical background or the evolution of the post of the Speaker of Lok Sabha, it evolved from the Government of India Act 1919, also known as the Montague-Chelmsford Reform, okay, and it originated in India in the year 1921. So the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker post originally came from this Government of India Act 1919. In the year 1921, it originated in India. At that time, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker were also called as the President and the Deputy President, and we kept following this nomenclature until the enactment of the Government of India Act, okay. So before 1921, the Governor General of India used to preside over the meetings of the Central Legislative Council. So Governor General was the in charge and he used to preside over the meetings of the Central Legislative Council, also known as the Lok Sabha at that point of time, okay. The Government of the India Act of 1935, as I was explaining to you before, changed the nomenclature from President and Deputy President to the Speaker and Deputy Speaker, okay. So the nomenclature was changed by the Government of India Act, okay. However, the old nomenclature continued till 1947. Why? Because we did not enforce the federal provisions of the Government of India Act. So this old nomenclature, continued till the year 1947. But now if you ask me, they are known as Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Now let us understand the constitutional provisions in relation to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. So the first article is Article 93, which talks about the post of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Then comes the Article 94, which talks about vacation, resignation and removal from the post of Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Then comes Article 97, which talks about the salaries and allowances for the post of Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. Then comes Article 100, which talks about voting in the houses. Now let us examine the provisions of or the election and the tenure of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. So the Speaker is elected by the Lok Sabha from amongst its members as soon as maybe after its first sitting. So there is this first sitting of the Lok Sabha in which various members or the elected members are present and they themselves choose amongst one of them as the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, okay. Whenever the office of the Speaker falls vacant, the Lok Sabha elects another member to fill the vacancy. The date of the election of the Speaker is fixed by the President. Kindly remember this point, okay. Usually the Speaker remains in office during the life of the Lok Sabha, but his seat can be vacated in the following three circumstances. Firstly, if he ceases to be the member of Lok Sabha. if he ceases to be the member of Lok Sabha. Okay. The second condition is he has tendered his resignation. And to whom does he tender his resignation? To the deputy speaker. Okay. Then third situation is he has been removed from his post. Okay. We'll discuss removal in details in our further slides. And 14 days advance notice has to be given to the speaker for his removal. Whenever the resolution for his removal is there in the Lok Sabha, then he cannot preside, but he can be present in the Lok Sabha. So now let us understand the roles, powers and functions of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. The Speaker is the head of the Lok Sabha, as I have explained to you this before also, that he is the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha and its representative. Okay, he is the guardian of the powers and privileges of the members, the House as a whole and its committees. We'll understand various roles and powers and functions in our further slides, but first and the foremost, he is the guardian of the rights and privileges of the members of the Lok Sabha. Not only this, if someone misbehaves or if someone, hampers the conduct of the business of the Lok Sabha, then who has to be complained to? The Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Okay, he is the principal spokesman of the House and his decision in all parliamentary matters is final. So this is not a rubber stamp post. This is a very important constitutional post that is given to the Speaker of Lok Sabha, and he has various powers and functions to perform. Let us see some of his powers and functions. Okay, so the Speaker of his Lok Sabha derives his powers and duties from three sources. So the first source is the Constitution of India. The second source is the rules of procedure and conduct of business of the Lok Sabha, and the third source is parliamentary conventions. These are unsaid rules, but they have been followed since a long period of time and hence they are well established. Okay, so if you talk about the powers of the and the role of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, he has the following powers. So the first is maintenance of order and decorum in the House for conducting its business and regulating its proceeding. Okay, so this is the main and the primary function of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. If someone hampers the conduct of the business of the Lok Sabha, or if someone violates the rules of procedure or whatever it is happening in the Lok Sabha, then who has the power to disqualify him? The Speaker has the power. Okay, final interpreter. The Speaker is the final interpreter of the Constitution of India. Rules and procedures of the House. Rules and procedures. Okay. Not only this, conduct of business as well. Conduct of business as well. Okay. Then parliamentary precedents or the parliamentary conventions, which we just talked about in our previous slide. Parliamentary precedents within the Lok Sabha. So he is the final interpreter of Constitution of India, rules and procedures and conduct of the business of the House, and the parliamentary precedents within the Lok Sabha. So this is also a very important function that is performed by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. He adjourns the House or suspends the meeting in absence of a quorum. Kindly let me know the quorum for calling the Lok Sabha in the comment box below. Okay. He does not vote in the first instance, but he can exercise a casting vote in the case of a tie. So this is also a very important power that is given to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. He is the representative. Okay, so whenever a bill is put to vote in the Lok Sabha, he cannot vote at the very first instance, but as he is an important person, he is giving a provision known as the casting vote. And this provision is very important to resolve any kind of tie in the Lok Sabha. He presides over a joint sitting of the two houses of the parliament. And where is it the provision of joint sitting mentioned in our Indian Constitution? It is mentioned in Article 108 of our Indian Constitution. Kindly let me know which kind of bills the president can call a joint sitting for to resolve a deadlock. Kindly let me know in the comment box below. Okay, he can allow a secret sitting of the house at the request of the leader of the house. So what happens in this secret sitting of the parliament? Only the speaker and members are allowed. You know, other members or the media is not allowed to attend the special secret session of the parliament. Okay, he decides whether a bill is a money bill or not, and his decision on this question is final. So when we were discussing the provisions relating to money bill in our polity primer lecture, we saw that who endorses on a bill when a bill is sent to the Rajya Sabha for its recommendation. The speaker, if it is a money bill, the speaker will endorse that it is a money bill. So endorsement is done by the speaker. Not only this, when the president will also get that bill for his assent, it is a money bill will be endorsed by the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Okay, he decides the questions of disqualification of a member of the Lok Sabha arising on the ground of defection under the provisions of the 10th schedule. Another important power that has been given to the speaker of the Lok Sabha, and this power of the speaker of the Lok Sabha is often in news. We have discussed in details the power of the speaker under the 10th schedule in our very first lecture. Okay, not only this, he is a member of the parliamentary group. Okay, this is an important link between the Indian parliament and other countries' parliament. He appoints the chairman of various parliamentary committees. Okay, and he also oversees the functions of the chairmen that are appointed by him for the various parliamentary committees. So just understand how important this post of speaker is. Okay, and he is very important. It is a constitutional post that is given to the speaker of the Lok Sabha, and if you ask me, if a speaker is a non-parliamentary post in India, no, it is not a non-parliamentary post, and that is why it often is in controversy. We often see that the speaker in Britain is a non-binary member. He is impartial in nature and he does not have any political bias. But if you talk about India, as he is appointed from the majority party, definitely he is not a like the post is a parliamentary post, or the post is a representative of the government in the Lok Sabha. Okay, now let us understand the independence and impartiality of the speaker. So I just now explained to you that in India it is a post that is considered to be a representative of the government. So how do we ensure independence and impartiality of the post of the speaker of the Lok Sabha? With some constitutional safeguards and provisions, let us understand. Firstly, the speaker of the Lok Sabha has a security of tenure. Speaker can be only removed from his post by a special majority, not by an ordinary majority. Okay, special majority. Okay, and this removal decision has to be supported by 50 members to be discussed in the parliament, and this resolution can only originate in the Lok Sabha. So it is not, easy to remove the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Okay, his salaries and allowances are fixed by the parliament and they are charged upon the consolidated fund of India. This means that it cannot be put to vote by ordinary parliament. Okay. His work and conduct cannot be discussed and criticized in the Lok Sabha except on a substantive motion. So these are the provisions which we try to ensure the independence of the post of the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Okay, he is given a very high position in the order of precedence. That means he is at the 7th rank along with the CGI. He is above all of the cabinet ministers and he is just subordinate to the Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister. So this post becomes very important and we have constitutional provisions safeguarding the independence and impartiality of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. He has a casting vote which ensures that he is impartial. I was explaining to you this before also, that he cannot vote at the first instance. He can only vote whenever there is a situation of a tie. So this casting vote also ensures that he is impartial in nature. Now let us understand the post of Deputy Speaker. Okay, like the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker is also elected by the Lok Sabha itself from amongst its members. He is elected after the election of the Speaker has taken place. The date of the election of the Deputy Speaker is fixed by the Speaker. So this is a major difference between the post of the Deputy Speaker and Speaker. In the case of Speaker, the date of the election of the Speaker was fixed by the President of India himself. But in the case of Deputy Speaker, the date of his election is fixed by the Speaker. But this does not mean that the post of Deputy Speaker is subordinate to the Speaker. No. Why? Because he has the power to act as a Speaker whenever there is an absence or the vacancy in the office of the Speaker. And when he is, acting as a Speaker, he has all the powers of the Speaker. So this post is another constitutional post that is specifically mentioned in the Constitution of India, and we should not understand that this post of Deputy Speaker is subordinate to the Speaker. Okay. One of the critical powers or the special privilege that is available to the post of Deputy Speaker is whenever he is appointed as a member of a parliamentary committee, he automatically becomes its chairman. This is not the case with Speaker. We have studied that the Speaker appoints the chairman. So he himself is not a chairman de facto, but in the case of Deputy Speaker, he automatically becomes the chairman whenever he is appointed to a parliamentary committee. Okay, when the Speaker presides over the House, the Deputy Speaker is like any other ordinary member of the House. He can speak in the House, participates in its proceeding and vote on any question before the House. But this does not mean this post is subordinate to the post of Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Why? Because he has the power and he can act as the Speaker in his absence or vacancy in the office. So this was all about the post of Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Okay. Now let us understand what is a pro tem speaker, another important post, and this is very important from your prelims point of view, because in a statement questions they often confuse you in the provisions of the pro tem speaker. Okay, so as provided by the Constitution, the Speaker of the last Lok Sabha vacates his office immediately before the first meeting of the newly elected Lok Sabha. So whenever there is a newly elected Lok Sabha, the Speaker immediately vacates his seat. So what happens after that? A senior member is appointed as a Speaker pro tem or a pro tem Speaker to look after the matters of the House, to administer oaths to the members of the House, and to help in the election of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Usually the senior most member is selected for this. The President himself administers oath to the Speaker pro tem. So this again becomes very important because he is a helping hand in the selection of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Not only this, he makes sure that the first meeting of the newly elected Lok Sabha functions smoothly. As this post is as this post ceases to exist after the election of the Speaker. So this is also known as a temporary post. This post ceases to exist after the election of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, but this is a very important post and questions are often asked in the prelims examination about who is a Speaker pro tem. Okay, so this was all about the pro tem speaker. And with this we come to a conclusion of our today's discussion. We have seen who is the speaker of the Lok Sabha. We have also analyzed the post of the deputy speaker, and we have also read and understood the powers and functions of the speaker, you know, the powers and functions of the deputy speaker. He acts as a speaker in his vacancy or in his absence. And we have also seen the pro tem speaker. We will be discussing the speaker of the state legislative assembly in a separate video. Okay. So, till the 10th Lok Sabha elections, the speaker and the deputy speaker were chosen from the same party. But since the 11th LS, the post of the speaker usually goes to the majority party, and the deputy speaker post goes to the leader of the opposition or the opposition party, any senior most member from the opposition party. And this question has been asked in your prelims examination in the form of a statement. So this was an important information which I had to convey. Okay, now let us discuss a practice question for your prelims examination. So the question is, consider the following statements. Your statement number 1 is, the institutions of speaker and deputy speakers originated in India in 1921 under the provisions of the Government of India Act of 1919, also known as the Montague-Chelmsford reforms. Okay. Your statement number 2 is, the decision of the speaker under the 10th schedule is subject to judicial review. Which of the following statements given above are correct? Your options are, option A is 1 only, option B is 2 only, option C is both 1 and 2, and option D is neither 1 nor 2. Kindly drop your answers in the comment box below. Now let us see a practice question for your mains examination. Okay. The question is, analyze the role of speaker with respect to the 10th schedule. You will firstly write briefly about the post of the speaker of the Lok Sabha. You will mention that he has various powers and functions. He is the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha. And in the powers and functions, you will write that he is responsible for disqualifying any member on the grounds of defection under the 10th schedule. And you will also see that, write that the role of the speaker becomes very important under the 10th schedule. And you will also discuss the provisions of 10th schedule, and you will also discuss the various reforms in the role of the speaker under the 10th schedule. You will write that there is no time limit for the speaker to decide the disqualification, and we need some of the important reforms in the powers of the speaker in the under the 10th schedule. We can conclude holistically that the post of the speaker of the Lok Sabha is very important, and he plays a very important role while disqualifying the members of the parliament. You can conclude holistically. I hope this session was insightful for you. If you have any feedback regarding this session, kindly drop it in the comment box below. If you found today's discussion to be helpful, kindly like the video and subscribe to our channel for more such updates. From now on, you will be getting the PDFs on Telegram. I'll share the Telegram channel link, and you can subscribe the channel for getting the PDFs. Okay. Thank you.